Chapter 19. The Summer Table. Hey, is this seat taken? I looked up, and a girl I never saw before was standing across from my table with a lunch tray full of food. She had long wavy brown hair and wore a brown t-shirt with a purple peace sign on it. No, I said. She put her lunch tray on the table, plopped her backpack on the floor, and sat down across from me. She started to eat the mac and cheese on her plate. She said after swallowing the first bite. I should have brought a sandwich like you did. Yeah, I said, nodding. My name is Summer, by the way. What's your? August. Cool, she said. Summer. Another girl came over to the table carrying a tray. Why are you sitting here? Come back to the table. It was too crowded. Summer answered her. Come sit here. There's more room. The other girl looked confused for a second. I realized she has been one of the girls I had caught looking at me just a few minutes earlier, hand cupped over her mouth, whispering. I guess Summer had been one of the girls at that table too. Never mind, said the girl, leaving. Summer looked at me, shrugged, smiled, and took another bite of her mac and cheese. Hey, our names kind of match, she said as she chewed. I guess she could tell I didn't know what she meant. Summer, August, she said, smiling. Her eyes opened wide as she waited for me to get it. Oh, yeah, I said after a second. We can make this the summer-only lunch table, she said. Only kids with summer names can sit here. Let's see, is there anyone named June or July? There's Maya, I said. Technically, May is spring, Summer answered, but if she wanted to sit here, we could make an exception, she said as if she had actually thought the whole thing through. That's Julian? That's like the name Julia, which comes from July. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything. There's a kid named Red in my English class, I said. Yeah, I know Red, but how is Red a summer name? She asked. I don't know, I shrugged. I just picture like a red of grass being in the summer thing. Yeah, okay, she nodded. Pull out her notebook, and Mr. Petosa could sit here too. That kind sounds like the word petal, which I think of as a summer thing too. I have her for homeroom, I said. I have her for math, she answered, making a face. She started writing the list of names on the second to last page of her notebook. So, who else? She said. By the end of lunch, we had come up with a whole list of names of kids and teachers who can sit at our table if they wanted. Most of the names were not actually summer names, but they were names that had some kind of connection to summer. I even found a way of making Jack Grill's name work by pointing out that you could turn his name into a sentence before about summer, like Jack will go to the beach, which Summer agreed worked fine. But if someone doesn't have a summer name and wants to sit with us, she said very seriously, we will still let them if they are nice, okay? Okay, I nodded. Even if it's a winter name. Kumbins, she answered, giving me a thumb up. Summer looked like her name. She had a tan and her eyes were green like a leaf. That's on chapter 19.
Chapter 20, 1 to 10. Mom's always has this habit of asking me how something fell on a scale of 1 to 10. It started after I had my jaw surgery, when I couldn't talk because my mouth was right shut. They had taken a piece of my bone from my hip bone to insert into my chin to make it look more normal. So I was hurting in a lot of different places. Mom would point to one of my bandages and I would hold up my finger to show her how much it was hurting. One man with a meat 10 minutes so much. Then she would tell the doctor when he made his rounds what needed adjusting or things like that. Mom got very good at reading my mind sometimes. After that, we got into the habit of doing the 1 to 10 scale for anything that hurt. Like if I just had a pain or sore throat, she does 1 to 10 and either say 3 or whatever it was. When school was over, I went outside to meet Mom, who were waiting for me at the front entrance line. On the other parents or babysitters. The first thing she said after hugging me was, "So, how was it?" 1 to 10. 5, I said, struggling, which I could tell totally surprised her. Well, she said quietly. That's even better than I hoped for. Are we picking me up? Miranda's mother is picking her up today. Do you want me to carry your backpack, Sweeney? We had started walking through the crowd, kids and parents, most of whom were noticing me, secretly pointing me out to each other. I'm fine, I said. It looks too heavy, Archie. She started to take it from me. Mom, I said, pulling my backpack away from her. I walked in front of her through the crowd. See you tomorrow, August. It was summer. She was walking in the opposite direction by summer. I said, waving at her. As soon as we crossed the street and were away from the crowd, Mom said, "Who was that, Georgie?" "Summer, is she in your class?" "I have lots of classes." Is she in any of your classes?" Mom said, "No." Mom waited for me to say something else, but I just didn't feel like talking. "So it went okay," said Mom. I could tell she had a million questions and she wanted to ask me. Everyone was nice. Did you like your teachers? Yeah. How about those kids you met last week? Was they nice? Fine. Jack hung out with me a lot. That's so weird, sweetie. What about that boy Julian? I thought about the last Cedars Common. By now it felt like that had happened 100 years ago. He was okay, I said. And the blonde girl, what was her name? Sarah, Mom. I said everyone was nice already. Okay, Mom answered. I honestly don't know why I kind of mad at Mom, but I was. We crossed a Masford Avenue. She didn't say anything else until we turned onto our block. "So," Mom said, "how did you meet Summer if she wasn't in any of the classes?" "We sat together at lunch," I said. I had started kicking a rock between my feet like it was a soccer ball, chasing it back and forth, and across the sidewalk. She seemed very nice. Yeah, she is. She very pretty, Mom said. Yeah, I know, I answered. We are kind of the Beauty and the Beast. I didn't wait to see Mom's reaction. I just started running down the sidewalk after the rock, which I had kicked as sharp as as I could in front of me.
Padawan. That night, I cut off the little brain on the back of my head. Dad noticed first. Oh, good, he said. I never liked that thing. Beer couldn't believe that I had cut it off. That took you years to grow, she said, almost like she was angry. Why did you cut it off? I don't know, I answered. Did someone make fun of it? No. Did you tell Christopher you was cutting it off? We've not even friends anymore. That's not true, she said. I can't believe you would just cut it off like that. She added snootily, and then practically slammed my bedroom door shut as she left the room. I was snuggling with Daisy on my bed when Dad came to tuck me in later. He scooted Daisy over gently and lay down next to me on the blanket. So, Augie Doggy, he said, it was really an okay day. He got that from a note cartoon about a dachshund named Augie Doggy, by the way. He had bought it for me on eBay when I was about 4, and we watched it a lot for a while, especially in the hospital. He would call me Augie Doggy, and I would call him Dear Old Dad, like the puppy called the Dachshund son on the show. Yeah, it was totally okay, I said, nodding. You've been so quiet all night long. I guess I'm tired. It was a long day, huh? I nodded. But it really was okay? I nodded again. He didn't say anything. So after a few seconds, I said, it was better than okay, actually. That's great to hear, Augie, he said quietly, kissing my forehead. So it looks like it was a good call Mom made. You're going to school? Yeah, but I could stop going if I wanted, right? That was a deal, yeah, he answered. So I guess it would depend on why you wanted to stop going to, you know? You have to let us know. You have to talk to us and tell us how you're feeling and if anything bad were happening, okay? You promise you tell us it? Yeah. So can I ask you something? Are you mad at Mom or something? You've been kind of huffy with her all night long. You know, Augie, I as much to blame for sending you to school as she is. No, she's more to blame. It was her idea. Mom nodded on the door just then and peeked her head inside my room. Just wanted to say good night, she said. She looked kind of shy for a second. Hi, Mama, Dad said, picking up my hand and waving it at her. I heard you cut off your braid, Mom said to me, sitting down on the edge of my bed next to Daisy. It's not a big deal, I answered quickly. I didn't say it was, said Mom. Why don't you put Augie to bed tonight? Dad said to Mom, getting up. I've got some work to do anyway. Good night, my son. That was another part of Augie Doggy routine, though I wasn't in the mood to say good night, dear old Dad. I'm so proud of you, said Dad, and then he got up out of the bed. Mom and Dad had always taken turns putting me to bed. I know it was a little babyish of me to still need them to do that, but that's just how it was with us. Will you take it on Veer? Mom said to Dad as she lay down next to me. He stopped by the door and turned around. What's wrong with Veer? Nothing, said Mom, shrugging. At least she would tell me, but First day of high school and all that. Said Dad, and then he pointed his finger at me and winked. It's always something with you kids, isn't it? He said. Never a dull moment, said Mom. Never a dull moment, Dad repeated. Good night, guys. As soon as he closed the door, Mom pulled out the book she'd been reading to me for the last couple of years. I was relieved because I really was afraid she wanted to talk, and I just didn't feel like doing that. But Mom didn't seem to want to talk either. She just flipped through the pages until she got to where we have let out. We were about halfway through The Hobbit. Stop, stop, shouted Thorin, said Mom, reading aloud. But it was too late. The exciting dwarf has waited their last around, and now the books that Barrow had given them was useless. There was a gloaming party that night, and the gloom gathered still deeper on them in the following days. They have crossed the enchanted stream, but beyond it the paths seems to stagger on just as before, and in the forest they could see no change. I'm not sure why, but all of a sudden I started to cry. Mom put the book down and grabbed her hand around me. She didn't seem surprised that I was crying. It's okay, she whispered in my ear. It's be okay. I'm sorry, I said between sniffles. Shh, she said, wiping my tear with the back of her hand. You have nothing to be sorry about. Why do I have to be so ugly, Mommy? I whispered. No, baby, you're not. I know I am. She kissed me all over my face. She kissed my eyes that came down too far. She kissed my cheeks that looked punched in. She kissed my tortoise mouth. She said soft words that I know were meant to help me, but words can change my face.
Chapter 22. Wake me up when September ends. The rest of September was hard. I wasn't used to getting up so early in the morning. I wasn't used to the whole notion of homework. And I got my first quiz at the end of the month. I never got quizzes when Mom homeschooled me. I also didn't like how I had no free time anymore. Before, I was able to play whenever I wanted to. But now it felt like I always had stuff to do for school. And being at school was awful in the beginning. Every new class I had was like a new chance for kids to not stare at me. They would sneak peeks at me from behind their notebooks, or when they thought I wasn't looking, they would take the longest way around me to avoid bumping into me in any way. Like I had some germ they could catch, like my face was contagious. In the hallways, which were always crowded, my face would always surprise some unsuspecting kid who maybe hadn't heard about me. The kid would make the sound you make when you hold your breath before going underwater, a little sound. This happened maybe 4 or 5 times a day for the first few weeks. On the stair, in front of the lockers, in the library, 500 kids in the school. Eventually, every one of them was going to see my face at some time. And I knew after the first couple of days that word had gotten around about me, because every once in a while I would catch a kid elbowing his friend as they passed me or talking behind their hands as I walked by them. I can only imagine what they were saying about me. Actually, I prefer not to even try to imagine that. I'm not saying they were doing any of these things in a mean way. By the way, not once did any kid laugh or make noises or do anything like that. They were just being normal dumb kids. I know that. I kind of wanted to tell them that. Like, it's okay. I know I'm good looking. Take a look. I don't bite. Hey, the truth is, if a Wookiee started going to school all of a sudden, I would be curious. I would probably stare a bit. And if I was walking with Jack or Summer, I would probably whisper to them, hey, there's a Wookiee. And if the Wookiee caught me saying that, he would know I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just pointing out the fact that he's a Wookiee. It took about 1 week for the kids in my class to get used to my face. These were the kids I see every day in all my classes. It took about 2 weeks for the rest of the kids in my grade to get used to my face. These were the kids I would see in the cafeteria, yard time, PE, music, library, computer class. It took about a month for the rest of the kids in the entire school to get used to it. These were the kids in all the other grades. They were big kids. Some of them had crazy haircuts. Some of them had earrings in their noses. Some of them had pimples. None of them looked like me.
This is chapter 23, Jack Will, from the book Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I hung out with Jack in homeroom, English, history, computer, music, and science, which were all the classes we had together. The teachers assigned seats in every class, and I ended up sitting next to Jack in every single class. So I figured either the teachers were told to put me and Jack together, or it was a totally incredible coincidence. I walked to classes with Jack too. I know he noticed kids staring at me, but he pretended not to notice. One time, though, on our way to history, this huge 8th grader who was zooming down the stairs 2 steps at a time accidentally bumped into us at the bottom of the stairs and knocked me down. As the guys had me stand up, he got a look at my face, and without even meaning to, he just said, "Whoa." Then he patted me on the shoulder like he was dirting me off and took off his friend. For some reason, me and Jack started cracking up. "That guy made the funniest face," said Jack as we sat down at our desks. "I know, right?" I said. He was like, "Whoa." I swear, I think he wet his pants. We were laughing so hard that the teacher, Mr. Roach, had to ask us to settle down. Later, after we finished reading about how ancient submarines built sundials, Jack whispered, "Do you ever want to beat those kids up?" I shrugged. "I guess I don't know." "I don't want to. I think you should get a secret squirt gun or something and attach it to your eyes somehow. And every time someone stares at you, you would squirt them in the face. With some green slime or something," I answered. No. With slug juice mixed with dog pee." "Yeah," I said, completely agreeing. "Guys," said Mr. Roach from across the room, "people are still reading." We nodded and looked down at our books. Then Jack whispered, "Are you always going to look this way, August? I mean, can you get plastic surgery or something?" I smiled and pointed to my face. "Hello, this is after plastic surgery." Jack clapped his hand over his forehead and started laughing hysterically. "Dude, you should shoot your doctor," he answered between giggles. This time 2 of us were laughing so much we couldn't stop even after Mr. Roach came over and made both of us switch chairs with the kids next to us.
Mr. Brown's September precept. When given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind. "Okay, so everybody," he said, facing us again, "I want you to start a brand new section in your notebooks and call it Mr. Brown's precepts." He kept talking as we did what he was telling us to do. Put today's date at the top of the first page, and from now on, at the beginning of every month, I'm going to write a new Mr. Brown precept on the chalkboard, and you're going to write it down in your notebook. Then we're going to discuss that precept and what it means. And at the end of the month, you're going to write an essay about what it means to you. So by the end of the year, you'll all have your own list of precepts to take away with you. Over the summer, I asked all my students to come up with their very own personal precept. Write it on a postcard and mail it to me from wherever you go in your summer vacation. "People really do that?" said one girl whose name I didn't know. "Oh yeah," he answered. "People really do that. I've had students send me new precepts years after they've graduated from the school, actually. It's pretty amazing. He paused and stroked his beard, but anyway, next summer seems like a long way off, I know. He joked, which made us laugh, so everybody relaxed a bit while I take attendance. And then when we're finished with that, I'll start telling you about all the fun stuff we're going to be doing this year. In English. He pointed to Jack when he said this, which was also funny, so we all laughed at that. As I wrote down Mr. Brown's September precept, I suddenly realized that I was going to like school, no matter what.
Chapter 25 Apples. My birthday is October 10th. I like my birthday, 10/10. It would have been great if I'd been born at exactly 10:10 in the morning or at night, but I wasn't. I was born just after midnight, but I still think my birthday is cool. I usually have a little party at home, but this year I asked Mom if I could have a big bowling party. Mom was surprised but happy. She asked me who I wanted to ask from my class, and it was said everyone in my homeroom plus Summer. That's a lot of kids, Augie, said Mom. I have to invite everyone because I don't want anyone to get their feelings hurt if they find out other people are invited and they aren't, okay? Okay, Mom agreed. You even want to invite the deal kid? Yeah, you can invite Julian, I answered. Yes, Mom, you should forget about that already. I know, you're right. A couple of weeks later, I asked Mom who was coming to my party, and she said Jack Will, Summer, Red Kingsley, both Mazes, and a couple of other kids said that they were going to try to be there. Like who? Charlotte's mom said Charlotte had a dance recital up earlier in the day, but she was going to try to come to your party at Tamerlane, and Tristan's mom said he might come after his soccer game. So that's it? I said. That's like 5 people. That's more than 5 people, Augie. I think a lot of people just have plans already. Mom answered. We were in the kitchen. She was cutting one of the apples we had just gotten at the farmer's market into teensy-weensy bites so I could eat it. What kinds of plans? I don't know, Augie. We sent out the invites kind of late. Like, what did they tell you, though? What reasons did they give? Everyone gave different reasons, Augie. She sounded a bit impatient. Really, sweetie, it shouldn't matter what their reasons were. People have plans, that's all. What did Julian give as his reason? I asked. You know, said Mom. His mom was the only person who didn't RSVP at all. She looked at me. I guess the apple doesn't fall from the tree. I laughed because I thought she was making a joke, but then I realized she wasn't. What does that mean? I asked. Never mind. Now go wash your hands so you can eat. My birthday party turned out to be much smaller than I thought it would be, but it was still great. Jack, Summer, Ray, Tristan, and both Mrs. come from school, and Christopher came too, all the way from Bridgeport with his parents. And Uncle Ben come. And Aunt Kate and Uncle Paul drove in from Boston, though Tata and Papa were in Florida for the next winter. It was fun because all the grown-ups ended up bowling in the lane next to ours, so it really felt like there were a lot of people there to celebrate my party.
Hello, I'm Trần Thị Hà Anh, and now I will read the chapter Halloween. At lunch the next day, Summer asked me what I was going to be for Halloween. Of course, I'd been thinking about it since last Halloween, so I knew right away. Boba Fett. You know you can wear a costume to school on Halloween, right? No way. Really? So long as it's politically correct. What? Like no guns and stuff? Exactly. What about blasters? I think a blaster is like a gun. Augie? Oh man, I said, shaking my head. Boba Fett had a blaster. At least we don't have to come like a character in a book anymore. In the lower school, that is. That's what you had to do. Last year I was the Wicked Witch of the West from the Wizard of Oz. But that's a movie, not a book. Hello? Summer answered. It was a book first. One of my favorite books in the world, actually. My dad used to read it to me every night in the first grade. When Summer talks, especially when she is excited about something, her eyes squint like she is looking right at the sun. I hardly ever see Summer during the day, since the only class we have together is English. But ever since that first lunch at school, we've sat at the summer table together every day, just two of us. So what are you going to be? I asked her. I don't know yet. I know what I really want to go as, but I think it might be too dorky. You know, Savannah's group isn't even wearing costumes this year. They think we are too old for Halloween. What? That's just dumb. I know, right? I thought you didn't care what those girls think. She shrugged and took a long drink of her milk. So what dorky thing do you want to dress up as? I asked her, smiling. Promise not to laugh? She raised her eyebrows and her shoulders, embarrassed a unicorn. I smiled and looked down at my sandwich. Hey, you promised not to laugh. She laughed. Okay, I said, but you're not right. That's too dorky. But you're right, that's too dorky. I know, she said, but I have it all planned out. I'd make the head out of papier mache, and paint the heart gold and make the mane gold too. It would be so awesome. Okay, I shrugged. Then you should do it. Who cares what the other people think, right? Right? Maybe what I'll do is just wear it for the Halloween parade, she said, snapping her fingers. And I'll just be like a guard girl for school. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'll do. Sounds like a plan. I nodded. Thanks, Audrey. She could go. You know, that's what I like best about you. I feel like I can tell you anything. Yeah, I answered. Nodding, I gave her a thumbs up sign. Cool beans.
My name is Nguyễn Khánh Duy, and this is chapter 27 of the novel Wonders, School Pictures. I don't think anyone will be shocked to learn I don't want to have my high school pictures taken on October 22. No way, no thank you. I stopped letting anyone take pictures of me a while ago. I guess you could call that a phobia. No, actually, it's not a phobia, it's an aversion, which is a word I just learned in Miss Brown's class. I have an aversion to having my pictures taken. There, I used it in a sentence. I thought Mom would try to get me to drop my aversions to have my pictures taken for school, but she didn't. Unfortunately, while I managed to avoid having the portrait taken, I couldn't get out of being part of the class picture. The photographer looked like he'd just sucked on a lemon when he saw me. I'm sure he thought I ruined the picture. I was one of the ones in the front, sitting down. I didn't smile, not that everyone could tell if I had.
Hi, I'm Vũ Khánh Chi, and this is chapter 27 from the book Wonder by R.J. Palacio. School pictures. I don't think anyone will be shocked to learn I don't want to have my school picture taken on October 22nd. No way. No thank you. I stopped letting anyone take pictures of me a while ago. I guess you should call it a phobia. No, actually, it's not a phobia. It's an aversion, which is a word I just learned in Mr. Brown's class. I have an aversion to having my picture taken. There, I used it in the sentence. I thought Mom would try to get me to drop my aversion to having my pictures taken for school, but she didn't. Unfortunately, while I managed to avoid having the portrait taken, I couldn't get out of being part of the class picture. The photographer looked like he had just sucked on a lemon when he saw me. I'm sure he thought I ruined the picture. I was one of the ones in the front, sitting down. I didn't smile. Not that anyone could tell if I had.